Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rowan.
And I'm Mina.
And this is the birthday girl!
It's my birthday! So in the same fashion of Rowan's birthday video, we decided to go with something that I really wanted to do, like an idea that I had. I basically wanted to combine my love for books and Disney into a video, so we're going to be doing a Disney book tag. There's actually a YouTuber who created this. She came up with questions relating to like Disney films and then books, so we will link her below.
So we're combining Mina's favorite things.
My two favorite things.
And Disney.
The questions are really good.
They are very interesting.
So we had to choose like a book for each of these categories. The first one is The Little Mermaid, and it is a character who is out of their element or a fish out of water. So I decided to go with the character, the biologist in the book Annihilation. Actually not just her, but like all of the women in this book. Because if you guys don't know the story of this is about this really dangerous region that's like unexplored, and this group of explorers tries to go and see like the mysteries there. So I chose this as fish out of water because they're kind of like in an area that's unknown, and they're like not in like a typical location, you know what I mean? Like they're not in their regular habitat or like society. They're going out into some place that's unknown. So that's why I decided to do this. I also decided to choose it because they're not like just physically fish out of water, they're also like psychologically a fish out of water, because there's like, what is it called? Hypnosis in this, and it's like really interesting.
Oh wow.
You saw the movie.
I did.
But the movie sucks.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to go with this. I really do recommend the book, but not the film.
So I chose The Frog Princess by Edie Baker. This was a book that or a book series that I really liked when I was younger. I was like in middle school, high school. So she turns into a frog, so she's definitely out of her element because she is an amphibian. That's all I have to say about that.
I actually read that also, and I liked it too.
Yeah, it's a really good story for like the younger crowd.
A fairy tale. It's like The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The same story.
Except, oh yeah, it is, because she turns into the frog.
Yeah. So this one is a character who goes through a major transformation. So I decided to go with a classic, a Shakespearean classic, and I went with Macbeth, because he starts off, if you guys don't know the story, but he starts off as this really like loyal character who has like a really like honorable reputation, and then he ends up becoming a murderous traitor by the end of the book, and he's not even like guilty at the end, so he really transforms in his personality from good to bad.
Oh, so you took it like figuratively.
I took it figuratively, not a literal physical transformation.
So I chose the book The Bride and the Beast. This is actually like a romance novel, so if you're into like romance books, this is really good because it plays off of Beauty and the Beast. So basically there's this town that is very superstitious because there's like this castle like somewhere, I don't even know. I don't remember exactly like what it is, but basically they have to sacrifice a virgin every year. She basically sacrifices herself for the villagers, and she's being taken by this beast. He's not physically a beast, he's a person, but they call him the Beast because of like
his personality.
Yeah.
So you didn't do a physical transformation either.
That's true.
You did the same thing and you're acting like, oh, so you didn't think literally, you thought figuratively. So did you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna give too much away in case you guys are interested. I want to reread this.
But I think we can all kind of guess where like the plot goes if it's based on Beauty and the Beast.
No, but I do remember the ending, and it's very, very, like there's a plot twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good. I feel like people who watch our channel would be interested in that. So the next category is Snow White, and this is a book with an eclectic cast of characters. So I decided to go with this sci-fi book called The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and this is by Becky Chambers. And this is about a group of, I wouldn't call them astronauts, but like space explorers who live on a spaceship, and their job is to, this is gonna sound weird, but like put holes into the galaxy in order to make like pathways for like other people to travel. So it has to do with like space travel and like that stuff. But the reason why I chose this for an eclectic cast of characters is because everyone on board the ship is of a different species. So there are a few people who are human, there are some who are like kind of reptilian in nature. There's like one who like changes gender like throughout its life, which I thought was really interesting. And then there's also another character who has like two beings inside of him, like it's possessed, but not in a negative way.
Oh wow.
So there are a lot of really interesting, diverse characters in here, and that's why I thought it would be perfect for this. And just in general, like the way that they interact with each other, I think is really, it's really fun to read. So that's why I went with this one.
Okay, so this is based off of a movie, The Other Boleyn Girl.
Wasn't the book first though?
Oh my god, yeah, that's what I meant. I meant that this book was made into a movie, yes. And I actually have the movie cover, not the original Philippa Gregory cover. This has such an amazing cast of characters because you have Mary, who's supposed to be like this meek, gentle.
On the outside.
On the outside, not on the inside, because actually they changed the character from the book to the movie. Like in the movie she's more meek, in here she's more conniving.
Wow.
Which is weirdly weird, but anyway. And then Anne, who's very conniving and she just wants to get what she wants.
She's very ambitious.
Yes, no matter what. Ambitious is a very good word to describe her character. And then you have King Henry, who just wants to
who just wants to
yeah, basically, he just wants to fool around with like every freaking woman in his kingdom.
Yes. He's like an Elizabethan F-boy.
Basically,
right?
That's the perfect description.
Yes.
And then there are other characters as well, like Mary and Anne's uncle, who's also very ambitious and drives Anne to like, he kind of like pushes them to get married to the king.
The brother in the book?
The brother's in the book, her father, like it's just very, very dramatic.
And interesting like dynamics between them.
And then it's based off of history, so I think that makes it even more compelling.
So the next one is Sleeping Beauty, a book that puts you to sleep. So basically a book that you didn't like, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Hannibal Rising by Thomas Harris. This was actually a really big letdown for me. I read the first book in the series, which was Silence of the Lambs, and you guys know that turned into a movie. And I absolutely loved it. It was like fast-paced and it was like action-y and thriller-y, but this one was so freaking slow. So this is like the prequel to the Hannibal series, and it kind of gives us the origins of Hannibal's character. If you don't know who that is, he's like this famous horror character who is a cannibal. He eats people. So it shows us why he became the way he did, and I was actually recommended this by a classmate like back in my undergrad days. She was like, if you like Hannibal, you should read that one, it's so interesting. And like I was reading it and it was so freaking slow. Like it was not interesting for me at all, and it also had a backdrop of World War II, and I hate anything that has to do with war, like in film, in books. I just find it so boring. Like I'm just not interested in it at all, and that was like a main portion of the book. The only thing that was interesting was like the actual reason for why he becomes a cannibal, which I thought was, like I said, interesting, but I feel like I could have just Googled that instead of making myself suffer through this whole thing. But I'm the type of person that if I start something, I like force myself to finish it even if I hate it. So would not recommend this, guys.
Why is the reason?
You want to know?
Yeah, why not?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you actually care about Hannibal and you want to read it, skip the next 20 seconds. But basically, his family was a Jewish family, and they were kidnapped by the Nazis.
Okay.
And he and his sister, like they kept them prisoners, and to keep him alive, they actually fed him his little sister. Yeah, and I think he was like so traumatized by that experience
that he just kept eating humans?
That it became like a part of him. Like he psychologically like had to eat people. Yeah, isn't that so sad?
That is really, that's horrific.
Yeah, so
oh my god.
Happy birthday!
This book was made into a TV series, and I really like the TV series that Abir, actually, my sister, read the book because we watched it together, and she's like, I want to read the book. She loved the book, and she's like, you have to read it with me. So this is it, The Pillars of the Earth. It has the TV series like characters on it, and I didn't like it. I couldn't get into it. It was so slow. Like the TV series was like quick, fast-paced. It got down to business. This took forever. I definitely recommend the TV series though, if you guys are like into old time things, The Pillars of the Earth, and this was written by Ken Follett. Sorry, Ken.
Did you finish it?
No.
Oh, Ken, she didn't finish it!
I read maybe like the first 20 pages and then stopped.
You know what's bad when you can only get to like before 50. That's happened to me before.
And this book is like 1,000 pages.
Holy crap!
So yeah, that's that.
Moving on to the next one is The Lion King, and this is a character who had something traumatic happen to them in their childhood. Okay, so the book that I decided to choose was something I read recently, and it is The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torrey. The main character in this book is Deanna Madden, and basically, I'm not going to spoil anything, but she witnessed something really horrific happen to her family, and because of that experience, she actually gets these serial killer tendencies where she feels like the urge to murder people based on what she experienced in the past. You can sense a theme here with all of my
literally.
It's literally like all horror, but whatever, that's fine. So the whole book is basically about her life and how she kind of like keeps herself locked up in her apartment so that she doesn't have to interact with other people so she doesn't kill anybody, and then her trying to solve the mystery of a missing girl like alongside this. So it's really interesting. It is very explicit though. I mentioned this like on my Instagram that there's a lot of like sexual references in it, like very like vivid sexual references. So if you're younger or you don't like that, I would not check this out, but I recommend it for the story and for the characters.
My book that I chose for this category was Blue Skies by Katherine Anderson. I really love this book. I've read it so many times. I don't even remember how many times I've read it. The character, her name is Carly. I kind of want to tell them like a little bit about what the book is about.
Give them like a synopsis.
Okay, because I really feel like people would like this. So, especially if you're like into romance. So, you guys said something with me. I like romance novels. So basically this this woman, Carly, has been blind all her life, and she basically undergoes a surgery to see. So like
to correct her vision.
Yeah, on her first like night in the town with her vision. This is like the first time where she goes out into the world with her friend, and they end up going to a bar, and she ends up meeting someone, and his name is Hank. I was telling Mina, he's like this cowboy-esque,
like southern
suave.
charmer.
Yeah, he's like a southern charmer. He says all the right things to her.
They always do. They always do.
He charms her, and basically one thing leads to another, and they end up having a one-night stand. So remember guys, this is the first time that she's going out into the world. She's a virgin, okay? She's never slept with anyone before.
How many times are you gonna say virgin in this video? Literally like the title, virgin. Like,
I'm sorry!
Literally.
Okay, so basically that's what ends up happening, and then from that one night stand, she ends up getting pregnant, which just completely
shatters her whole life.
Basically, it does. I'm not gonna say why. If you guys want to read it, you can. But the traumatic experience that happened to her when she was younger plays a big effect on her relationship with Hank. So
is that, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but is her traumatic experience what makes her blind, or is she born blind?
No, she's born blind,
okay.
But her traumatic experience was with a guy.
Okay.
So that kind of turned her off to the whole
guy thing.
Yeah.
Dating scene.
Basically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited that I talked about this book.
Read it again.
I am. I'm gonna read it again.
I hope like after we do this video, Rowan like reads 20 books. Like
books that aren't fan fiction or about Raylo.
So the next category is Beauty and the Beast. And this is a beast of a book. So a big book that you were intimidated by, but found the story to be beautiful. So I'm obviously, you guys already know that I'm gonna mention Freaking It by Stephen King. This is the longest book I've ever read in my entire life, and it will probably always be the longest book. It is 1,156 pages, and I was really nervous about starting this because I didn't want to not finish it. Like I said, like I have this thing where I feel like I need to finish books, and because Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, like I didn't want to like disappoint myself and like not finish it. The reason why I think it's such a beautiful story is because I say this all the time, but it's not really like, it's not primarily a horror novel, it's more about the friendship between the kids who are battling Pennywise. And because it's such a lengthy book, they really develop, or he really develops the characters over the course of the novel. And I think you really get to understand who these characters are and their lives and their like desires and their fears, and it's just such a beautiful It's such a beautiful story that I really enjoyed reading. There are some controversial bits in the end of the text, which I won't go into, but I don't think that that takes away from the novel as a whole, and I would definitely recommend this to anybody who is interested in horror or just like friendship stories in general. When I finished reading this, it literally felt as if I had like lived 7 different lifetimes because of like how long it was and like how close we got to the characters. Another book that turned into a TV series.
Literally all of
but like my books are all books that became films.
Okay.
I had the same thing.
So anybody that watched Legend of the Seeker,
hit her up.
Literally, you are my best friend. Like, we don't even have to know each other. You're my best friend. So Legend of the Seeker is a TV series that aired on the CW. It was based off of Terry Goodkind's Wizard's First Rule. Legend of the Seeker was canceled. I am so upset about that. It only got to 2 seasons and then they stopped it. Let me see how many pages this is. It's not really that beast of a book.
That is big though.
It's like 600 pages and it follows Richard Kalin. Well, it follows Richard really, and he's like the
Legend of the Seeker.
Yeah, he's the Seeker basically. He is the Seeker and Kalin is there to guide him. Well, he has to defeat this like sorcerer or whatever his name is,
okay.
Dark and Rawl, and he has to like defend everybody. Yeah, you watched it?
I didn't watch it, but you guys would like obsess over it. I'm like, who the F is Dark and Raw? Like, are you kidding me?
It's so good. Okay, now I have to watch this.
The next one is Aladdin, and that is a character who gets their wish granted for better or for worse.
Alrighty.
Yes. So this is actually one of my favorite books of all time, which you need to read this.
I know.
We've been saying this for years. I've spoken about this on the channel when nobody watched us. And that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and this is kind of like a sci-fi thriller novel. So this is a sci-fi thriller novel about a man who ends up going into an alternate reality of his own life. And the reason why I chose this for someone who gets their wish granted for better or for worse is because the character Jason Dessen at the beginning of the novel, it's not that he's unhappy with his life, but he just has a lot of these thoughts about like how unsuccessful he is in his career and like how his life would have been different if he took different paths in his life or like made different decisions. And so he does end up going into an alternate reality of his life where he is more successful in his career, but obviously things are complicated and things are different than his normal life that he misses and things that he lacks. So it is definitely for worse that he gets his wish granted, and it basically just follows him in this journey of like discovering how to go back and like all of these different realities that are formed because of his action of going to a different one. It sounds very confusing, but it's explained really well, and it's like one of those very suspenseful novels that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's just like a page turner. So I highly recommend this to anybody. Like, you don't even need to be a fan of this genre. I think it's just a great story overall.
I chose the same book that I talked about before, but I chose The Other Berlin Girl just because, mostly about the character Anne, because she wants to become queen and she wants the king to be under her rule basically and let him follow her in everything that she wants, and she does end up getting that. She does end up marrying him, but as you guys know,
as history has shown us,
yeah, she gets beheaded. I mean, spoiler if you guys didn't know that, but if you took global history, you'd know that Anne
all
Boleyn,
of his friggin' wives are like beheaded or like, oh yeah, I think it's beheaded, divorce, died, survived, something
like that.
Whatever.
Be careful what you wish for, because you can end up beheaded.
Or just because it's not always what it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the moral. The next category is Mulan! And it is a character who pretends to be someone or something that they are not.
Okay.
So I decided to go with a book series that turned into a really famous TV show, which is Dexter. So the first book in the novel is called Darkly Dreaming Dexter, and this is by Jeff Lindsay. And this is a book series. I think there are like 10 or like 11, and I just read the first 3. But the reason why I chose this is because obviously, if you know anything about the series, Dexter is, again, somebody with like murderous tendencies that he cannot control, and of course, because you know it's me. But he works for the police department as a blood spatter analyst, right? So he's kind of working with the forces, like working with people who are essentially trying to capture people like him. So he pretends to be this very morally good, like outstanding citizen, but he's killing people on the side and just is going undetected. So that's what I really love about this. The humor in this book is like spot on, the character is great, and then the story is just really interesting. So I definitely recommend reading this if you like dark humor.
The story that I chose for this was Witch Witch by Eva Ibbotson. Ibbotson?
Why are you reading it in like an Arab accent? Ibbotson?
Okay, this story is so cute. I read this when I was younger again. It's basically about this wizard who has to find a wife who's a witch. And he throws like this contest and he's not allowed to see the person. So he just has to like base his decision off of what they can do. So a witch, well, she is a witch, but she's kind of like gorgeous, like she's a beautiful witch, and every other witch in this contest is ugly. So she wants to do dark magic. So the witch is in love with this wizard and she wants to marry him, but she knows that he's not gonna marry her if he knows that she's like this good witch. So she tries all these things to do like...
to make herself bad.
Basically.
Right, okay. So
and it doesn't work obviously because she's too good for that.
Spoiler alert! What if I wanted to read that?
I'm sorry!
That was on my TBR. That was on my... But, okay, so that's really interesting. So she pretends to be a bad witch when she's really good on the inside. The next category is Toy Story, a book with characters you wish existed in real life. And I chose, and I think you would agree with me, but Harry Potter.
Yeah?
I didn't bring Harry Potter with me because you guys...
I think I would choose the same thing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because all of the characters in there, like, except for freaking Voldemort, like the Death Eaters, but like the main cast of characters, Harry, Ron, Hermione, Snape.
Snape.
Rest in peace. I feel like we say that in every video. It's like
we love Snape.
Yes, if anybody could like exist, it would be Snape for me and Obi-Wan. But we're talking about books.
Yeah.
So Snape. Oh my god. But it's not even just him, just the characters in general.
You feel like they're your friends.
You feel like they're your friends and they're so like full of life and like happiness, and they're like always there to defend you. So I feel like they're such great characters that you would want in real life.
Absolutely, I agree. I would say the same thing.
And then the last category is the Descendants, Disney Descendants.
Oh, Descendants!
You love.
Hey! Shout out to Ben and Mal!
I've never watched the Descendants, but the question...
You have to watch it.
I don't like...
I don't care if it's corny, you gotta watch it.
It's not the corniness. I can't get into like teen dramas. I can't do it.
Okay,
because I was never a teenager. I was always an old woman. I was always old. Anyway, so
now you're even older.
Now I'm even older. Like I'm basically a grandfather, grandmother. I don't know. So your favorite villain or morally ambiguous character. So I went with one of my favorite books, or a character from my favorite book, Amy Dunn from Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, because she is, yes, a villain character, but more importantly, she's very like morally ambiguous. Actually, I don't think it's ambiguous. It's like she's bad, and we know she's bad.
Yeah.
But the reason why I like her so much is because even though, let me actually explain what it's about. So if you guys don't know what this is about, it is about a man named Nick Dunn whose wife goes missing and he is essentially framed for her murder. Sorry guys, but if you haven't read it or seen it, then just skip this, but basically we learned that Amy is not missing and she's not dead. She's actually framing her husband for her murder because he cheated on her. So like the reason why I like her so much, even though she's a terrible freaking person and I would not want to know her in my own life, is because she is so intelligent, and because the things that she says, I think, are things that all women can kind of like agree with. Like she basically talks about the nature of like F-boys and like guys will sleep around and just like everything that's wrong with society that has to do with gender and like misogyny. So that's why I really like her character, because she has a lot of like thought-provoking ideas and she's very witty and intelligent, but she's also terrible as a person, so Gone Girl. So
the story that I chose is again a romance novel, but this is kind of Avon true romance, so I guess this is like for teens. It says it for teens.
Oh.
So this was for teens, even though like I still don't care if it's for teens. Like it's more tame, I guess. Tame?
Yes.
Like more tame than adult romance. Yeah.
Appropriate.
Anyway, so I chose Amelia and the Outlaw by Lorraine Heath. It's about a young guy whose name is Jesse Lawton, and he has a very, I guess, a bad past. Like, he's done bad things. He gets taken in by this judge that lives like on a farm, not a ranch. He lives on a ranch, and he basically like takes him in to do his sentence, and he kind of gets a little
too close
to Amelia. And basically like,
wait, who's Amelia, the guy's daughter?
Yeah, the judge's daughter.
Oh man.
Yeah, so they kind of like form an attachment and stuff, but like, you know, Jesse's looked upon as
like
the villain,
yeah.
But he's not really. Like, he's a good guy.
He's good, but he's seen as bad.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I gotta say about
that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that is it. Those were all of the Disney book tag questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
I know.
I really hope
we
so.
tried to make it Disney themed because we know you're not gonna watch a video about books. Like, let's be real.
Not even that, but because we are a Disney channel, we wanted to incorporate that in there. So when I saw that this was a real tag, I was like, this is a great idea. It uses two of my favorite things. So let us know if you guys would be interested in more videos like this, in more tags or book discussions, whatever it is.
If like any of the books that we explained to you guys caught your interest, let us know.
And let us know what book selections you would choose for some of these questions.
Yeah, for these categories.
I would be curious to see what other people
I'll actually put the
questions
in the description so they could do it themselves.
Great.
All right.
And if you want to do it like in your own on your own channel, tag us
and we'll watch
it. See it.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay, great.
Alright, so wish this beautiful, lovely being a happy birthday.
Being? Why am I not just human? Anyway.
I'm trying to be fancy with my wording.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mina.
Even though it's like a month in advance, but it's okay. We'll celebrate tomorrow.
Yeah, basically.
Well, not really tomorrow, but yeah. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching.
And as always, have a magical day. Bye.
Okay.